Hi, I'm Ami Devereaux. If you look back into ancient times, all the way going back to the Persians or the Egyptians, we thought as humans in binary terms. That is to say, that everything came in pairs. So there was the sun and the moon, the day and the night, the good and the evil, and so forth. And then, of course, in biblical times, the entire Bible is rife with the same kind of binary scenario. There's God and the devil, good and evil, and so on and so forth. Now, in my work, I work with a lot of organizations on developing strategy. And that's an area where we are often presented with what seem to be binary choices. Should we expand the product line or not? Should I fire that employee or not? How do I grow this revenue line? Do I invest in marketing or not? And so forth. But choosing between yes and no, go or stop, is a really limiting factor on our decision making. And you can imagine if you come to a physical crossroad and the only way to go is right or left and both kind of suck, that is not a really great position to be in. So, what do you do when you seem to be faced with a binary choice? Because even though we know that doesn't make sense, that is kind of how we're wired up to think. I mean, we do it in our public discourse. People are either Democrats or Republicans, Tories or Labor. And we look at those sort of carved up factions as some kind of inherent reality that's just out there in the world. But the world is not actually carved up into binary choices. There are tons of options. And if you look at the way we even perceive data, we do it there. Think about, for example, your SATs. The difference between being in the 99th percentile and being in the 89th percentile, which, by the way, would carve out the difference between, say, going to an Ivy League school and not going to an Ivy League school. That actual difference in data is really nominal. So it might mean the difference between, missing 5 questions. But those 5 questions now take you out of an arbitrary tier that has been designated as good versus not good. So in our work, how can we apply this knowledge of our innate sort of bias to see things as either or? Well, one of the things we can do is when you're doing strategy, you can utilize your team to multiply options. And so the biggest sort of offense against binary or dualistic thinking is to multiply those options. But multiplying options doesn't come naturally to us. So if you organize your team in the face of some kind of binary decision, like should we invest in this new product or shouldn't we invest in the new product? And you have everybody come up with as many possible options and scenarios as they can, then you can sort through them. Now, many of them are going to be ludicrous. They'll be outlandish. They'll be impossible. But among that field of possibilities, there will be gems. There will be interim steps or completely different ways to address an issue. Like, let's say you're looking at developing a new product because you know that that product is going to expand the number of ways that your customer base uses your company. But investing in that product is really expensive. Well, instead of looking at the choice as do we invest or don't we, maybe you say, how could we make that product more available to our customers without investing in it? And alas, you may come up with a third option, like finding a strategic partner that can assist you in providing that service or feature without you making the investment. So again, increasing the options, create optionality, utilize the creativity and inventiveness of you and your team to multiply the choices. And that gives you a way to develop a much richer, more textured, more nuanced strategy. And of course, the same thing applies in our personal lives. As you approach changing behaviors this year, and I know many of you have done the future-based goal setting that I described in a previous video, you're looking at ways to accomplish those goals. Don't view it as an either or, because if you do, what you'll end up sort of facing is your own kind of either despair or cynicism about whether or not you can accomplish that goal. So instead of asking the question, can I do that? Ask the question, What would need to be possible for me to do that? And then you will increase the options because you'll come up with the conditions that would need to be there, and you'll be able to find multiple routes to accomplish those conditions. I hope this has been helpful. As always, I will be sending out an article next week that will go into more detail. We'll have citations to research and so forth that you can go and explore. In the meantime, start looking at the places where you are sort of unconsciously carving things up into an either or, and see if you can't add a few more options in there. Please subscribe to my channel. And I do have an online community that is completely free and also free of trolls and free of ads. I'd love you to ask for an invite to join. Just go to beyondbetter.online, ask for a request to join, and all we discuss is leadership, critical thinking, strategy, and so forth. So I'd love to see you there. Thank you.